Summer's officially over. Halloween's come and gone, and Thanksgiving is lurking just around the corner. So I thought, as the holidays draw near, why not hold true to what this podcast did last year, and bring you a case centered squarely upon what the coming holidays are best known for: family. Hello everybody and welcome to True Crime Banter, the podcast aimed at bringing you your dose of murder relaxation. So, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We're just bouncing around listening to some music over here.
No.
We are comfy and cozy today.
Yeah, all bundled up.
And it's been a minute. So long.
It's been a few 100,000 million minutes, guys.
1,400,000 something a minute.
Leave it to Riley to break into Broadway.
Well, what can I say? It is what I do. Anyway, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the True Crime Banter podcast. And the season 1 finale.
Yeah, welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, it's been...
Feels good to be here. Feels
just over
good
a
to
year.
be surrounded by all your earballs and everything.
Ooh, yeah, your ear
I know
muffins.
you're listening. I know it.
Hello. Yeah, you know it because we've been getting a lot of messages asking where the fuck's the episode
it's
at.
It's so cute, but everyone is so nice.
True.
I'm not going to say we have like hundreds of people reaching out, but the fact that we have like 10 people, which is so good for us, that's like a very good amount of people. Like, yeah. I don't even have this many family members checking in on me, so.
And I won't lie,
really
there
nice.
is hundreds of people though that are like catching on to the podcast and enjoying it now. So
I'd say every day there's some kind of message or comment like, hey, I just found you guys and I really love it. And it sucks that we like left off a while ago because we haven't given like all these new people anything new to listen to.
Well, they got time to catch up.
Yeah. But here we are. If they're anything like us, they're probably like binging it and like waiting for more like I am with everything else. Yeah.
So yeah, welcome everybody, all the new listeners and specifically the old listeners.
Yeah,
I know that
OGs.
you got for our bit of banter. Well, not for the bit of banter.
Yeah.
Let's do some shout outs first.
Yeah. You want to do that?
Yeah, you got some shout outs, right?
Yes, I have a few. They're kind of longer ones, but I love that. Someone by the name of brutal_bizarre_boozy, which I definitely thought it was booty before.
Oh.
And I loved it because bizarre booty sounds like someone I'd like to be friends with. But boozy's still good too. That's also a friend of mine.
Yeah. In fact, we're hanging out with Boozy right now.
Hi, it's me.
Hello.
Okay.
Well, I just meant alcohol, but you know.
Yeah, it's me. Hi,
okay.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Okay.
Brutal_ what is it?
brutal_bizarre_boozy.
All right. And what's this person got to say?
Yeah, they private messaged us saying, really enjoying your podcast. Great dynamic and interesting stories. Followed your pod and gave a 5-star rating. Have a great day.
Oh, hell yes. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you guys, listen, we've been so busy. You could probably tell because it's been so long since we uploaded an episode. But I'm the one who does like the making sure it's on as many platforms as we can get it on. And I forget sometimes that some of these platforms like Google Play, or what is it? Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts,
and Spotify.
Yeah, they have ratings, reviews, and I always forget to check to see if we've got new ones. So I would say periodically, once every couple weeks, I'll remember to.
Have you checked for this one?
I haven't. So
okay, maybe we'll do it next time.
Yeah. We'll check those next time and we'll shout you guys out.
If we find anything at some point, we could throw it in on the end of this too. But whatever. So yeah, thank you, Brutal Bizarre Boozy.
Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the content.
That was super nice. And then I remember this one was from like October 21st, not too long ago, but someone named S_Rayburn, aka Sydney, She said, first, love the podcast.
Aw, yeah.
I recently started listening and have been pretty much nonstop. So good. Second, Christian, your relationship with your dad sounds so much like the relationship with my dad. Aww. Anytime you talk about your dad, I'm like, yep, same. LOL, you guys are great, and I'm looking forward to more episodes. They're so cute. Yeah, her and I think talked for a little bit about like having like cool dads and like funny shit, but yeah. Shout out Tom.
Tommy boy.
And then one of our OG followers, Birdie_Hunter_Hawaii said, like very recently, like a couple days ago, said, I know you guys have a life and plenty of things going on, but we sure do need our TCB fix.
Here we are. We're here.
Love the way you two tell stories. Keep them coming.
Thank you.
Yes. And then our last one is BGP, aka Brooke Hannah, or Hannah. Some people say it either way.
Okay.
The message says, I think it was yesterday, she said, I just found you guys and I love the pod. As you're discussing having your husband sleep near the door in the Catherine Knight episode, so Catherine Knight was a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
What happens when there's a huge window next to the busy street or door on the other side? ? I currently sleep in the middle with our dogs on one side and my boyfriend on the other side because, like Riley, he couldn't care less about when he goes to bed or what's done for safety.
Well.
And while I'm listening right now, you mentioned hitting 1,000 followers, but now you're over 3,000. So all caps, congrats.
Oh, shit. Wait, what's her name again? BGP.
Brooke,
Hannah.
yeah, BGP,
Hannah.
but Brooke Hannah or Hannah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Also, I'd really like to shout out the fact that she knows how to use couldn't care less instead of could care less, because so many people say that. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, well, I could care less about that.
Yeah,
so.
I could care less about you, so fuck you. I'm just kidding. I love you.
Anyway, what would you be your answer to that question?
There was a question?
If there is a giant window next to, like, say if we had a ground level room or something.
That's actually a really good question. I think what I would probably do is have as much security on the window as possible. Obviously, they have like those little stick things you can put like in, those little window alarms that when it slides open, it makes like a sound.
Yep.
There's only so much you can do for windows, unfortunately. And then
you would probably still be towards the window side. I think.
Would probably, yeah. Because then if somebody breaks in on the door side, I can hop out the window.
True.
And the good news is that the alarm will go off when I open it, so it will alert someone. We'll hear it. Yeah,
I'll be half asleep.
Maybe it might wake you up.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, and also I think because like it would be, I feel like it's a lot more difficult to break into a window and then climb in without being
heard. Yeah, and if I'm right there,
just opening a door and walking through. So
yeah.
And we definitely can't trust our dog to protect you on the other side.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
So he's
just kidding,
half asleep right now, and he doesn't give a shit.
No.
Was that it? Was that it for the shout outs?
Yeah, that was it for now. Nice. I mean, there's some like random little comments on our last.
Yeah, I know you wanted to shout out those people specifically because
I'll put the other comments on the next one. Yeah, I'd really like to get into this one. But yeah.
And welcome the new listeners. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. And
hi guys.
Shout out to the old listeners because I know you've been patiently waiting for us to.
Also,
return.
too, I think I forgot to sign on these Instagram messages that it's me, but I hope that you can assume it's me because I'm using words like "Hey, girlfriend" and shit like that.
I do that sometimes.
Heart eyes and kissy
when I text
faces.
My boys.
And, okay. Anyway.
My boys.
Anyway, yeah, if you've been talking to someone, it's me. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Banter.
Oh, yes.
It's a third of our podcast.
I know. The banter's not really anything too, like, back and forth except that recommendations, because I've been watching a lot of everything lately.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good
Netflix
shows,
is
movies.
really
They're
popping off
right
if you guys don't know about
Hope
this.
So for how much we're paying
I mean,
them.
alongside like Unsolved Mysteries, which came out with a bunch of new ones. I can't be the only one who was like waiting for that. There's some really good ones on there. There's an episode on there about parts of a torso being found in a sleeping bag, and my dumbass was watching these episodes forgetting that it's unsolved, aka Unsolved Mysteries.
So
and at the end I was waiting for something and disappointed every time. But I was going to say to keep an eye out. I believe it's November 19th is when this is coming out. And it is the Texas Killing Fields documentary. Ooh. If you guys don't know anything about this, I don't know too much about it, but I know that True Crime Garage, shout out, another great podcast that I'm obsessed with. They did like a 4-part series or something about it because it's a lot of interesting things that extensive. And If you guys already know this case, it's a little bit complicated because it involves multiple victims, like so many over a long period of time. So it gets a little bit messy. But as summed up by radiotimes.com, it says the case of the Texas killing fields dives deep into the discovery on a 25-acre area in Texas that has earned its dark nickname after a series of young women were discovered dead there. In the 1980s, 3 girls seemingly with no connection mysteriously vanished without a trace, only to be found on Calder Road, a desolate patch of land isolated by a few oil rigs. A 4th victim was discovered later in 1991. Decades later, that murder remains unsolved too. One of the girls' grieving fathers refuses to give up, and now this docuseries, how many years later, 5 decades, to uncover a pattern of eerie connections and missed opportunities.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's going to be 3 episodes, but I believe they're going to be about an hour long each, and it kind of follows this. But that's something to look forward to. I believe it's November 19th. So there's that.
Exciting.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And then the other one that I've been watching, or that I finished, is The Inside Man.
Yeah, that
on
one
Netflix. This one was
good.
So stressful.
I already told one of my guys at work to watch it.
And I didn't think my mom was going to watch it because she doesn't really like take like recommendations that serious because she's into more like cooking shows and whatever. But I was like, listen, anything with Stanley Tucci, you have to get on this train right now. And he's amazing. And of course, I can't remember the guy's name, but he played...
Yeah, he's in Broadchurch. He did...
He's an English actor. Like, he's just so good. Of course, I'm spacing on his name. But he's so amazing, and it's so suspenseful, and it's done so well. It's a mix of like UK and American, and I don't want to give too much away, but if you guys love being stressed out and like pacing around your living room, just not knowing what's going to happen next, it's so good.
Yeah, it's... David Tennant, by the way.
David Tennant, yes. And he played... why am I spacing on his name?
Nielsen.
Dennis Nielsen, yes,
yeah.
Which is a case that we covered. I covered a long time ago. It was my longest case I did.
Goodness, that was a 2-hour
This is back when I was a baby podcaster. Now I'm so seasoned. But back in the day, it was like 5 hours long. But
yeah, that was a very good series. Yeah. Definitely worth the time.
And one more thing, I think this is coming out in like a week or two that I was just telling you about this, but there's another documentary coming out. This is a unsolved murder kind of thing. Vanessa Guillen is...
Oh, okay.
I think that's her name, yeah.
That sounds
Guillen.
very
She was
familiar.
a very, very, very young military recruit. I think she was in the Army at Fort Hood in Texas, and she was found dead after reporting sexual harassment by a superior and telling her family about it and not getting anything done about it. And there is in the military so many things that go unresolved, unnoticed. Nobody fucking gives a shit, especially when it comes to females, and especially when it comes to females of color in the military.
Yeah, I want to say True Crime Garage actually covered this case or something similar, because
maybe it happened in 2020.
Oh, okay.
And it just now is like finally picking up. So she was discovered dead, or like 10 weeks she was discovered in a river after she was reported missing. And when her family called to see where she was, nobody apparently knew where she was, even though there's cameras all over the base.
No one wanted to look into it.
Fort Hood is notorious for people, tons and tons of people going missing and being found murdered under the weirdest circumstances, and it all just being written off. Yeah. So finally, this story covers her mom and her sister basically raising hell, and it going all the way to the Oval Office and protests all around the country following her case.
Good.
And their whole message is this could be anyone's daughter, you know.
Not
so
just because it's
and she was so young. So
so
that's something to look forward to. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, guys. Also, too, if you guys know of anything that I didn't mention, or if you're excited about it too,
let us know.
Yeah, or also if you have anything that you're like, oh my God, you have to watch this. Like, if you loved Inside Man, then you're gonna like this, blah blah blah. Like, please let me know.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of shows we watched. I mean, back before we ever did the podcast.
Yeah.
Safe. That was a great one.
That was
like
really good
Harley
one.
Coben
Harlan
or Cohen?
Coben. He did.
Yeah, like
he's a great author.
Yeah. So, if you do have any recommendations, feel free, shoot us a message or leave it in a review or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something like that. Anyways, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody, and hope you enjoyed the banter.
Yeah.
I know everybody loves the banter.
The banter.
And how about we just get right into the
Let's do it.
case?
Okay.
Christmas Eve, 2007, Carnation, Washington. This case centers around 8 members of the Anderson family. 60-year-old Wayne Anderson and his wife, 61-year-old Judy Anderson. They are in preparations for what was supposed to be another festive holiday with their children and grandchildren. What they didn't know, though, is that only 3 members of their family would survive to see that joyful day, in what can only be described as the most disturbing nightmare before Christmas. Judy and Wayne first married back in September of 1972 in Ventura, California. 3 years later, they gave birth to their second oldest of 3 children, Scott Anderson. So Scott has an older sister, and they had a daughter before Scott. Her name's Mary, but it was really difficult for me to figure out much about Mary. There's not a lot in the reports about her.
There's just something about her, though.
There's something about Mary, yeah. But she was a much older, I would say, because at the time of this incident, her oldest son was 23 years old. And to put it in perspective, Scott, at the time of this incident was 32 years old, I believe.
Okay.
So she's, decently older than Scott. 3 years after Scott is born, the couple then welcomed their third and final child into the family, Michelle Anderson. And it was at this time Judy and Wayne had felt that their family was finally complete. Just 2 years later, after Michelle's birth, Wayne was offered a job at the small little aircraft company in the Pacific Northwest. You may have heard of them, Boeing. I'm not sure if you have, but... And after accepting the offer, the entire family packed up and headed north. Life for the Andersons was very much joyful, simple living. Judy got a job at the post office, while Wayne worked his way up the Boeing ladder, eventually becoming what they call a tool engineer. And by the mid-2000s, Wayne and Judy owned a 10-acre plot of land in the city of Carnation, which Carnation is only like a half-hour drive from where we're at.
Yeah, I've actually been there a few times. It's really like the smallest little place ever.
Yeah.
But when I was a preschool teacher, they have a
Remlinger Farms?
Really cute, yeah. Little like
carnival
like
type
berry
thing.
picking kind of pumpkin patchy, which is, I don't know about other states. I don't know what your guys' thing is like, but like the state of Washington is pretty much always in a state of fall. Mm-hmm. It's always rainy. It's always cloudy. It's like, except for our like 2 weeks of summer here. And so we really have so many pumpkin patches and apple cider, and like that's huge.
Yeah.
And Carnation has a huge they have
it's like the main
small little
attraction
roller
there.
Coasters and petting farms. So when I was a preschool teacher, we took our kids there and they fucking freaked out. It's really cute.
Yeah. One of the common things that you'll hear about Carnation, if you've ever listened to other, I guess, podcasts or like YouTube channels cover this, is that Carnation, though it's considered a city, is much more of a small rural little town.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a town.
Yeah, the total area of land and water combined is just over a square mile.
Yeah, so me and my dad went on a bike ride and we were like at a town near Carnation. and I didn't know we were going to go through it. And I was like, wait. And it dawned on me that I had gone to this area with the preschoolers. This was years later. And he goes, yeah, we already went through it. I'm like, wait, we biked through it? And he's like, yeah, that was like a while ago. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know we went through it. That's how small it was on a bike.
Yeah. I mean, the total population is less than 2,500 people. So
I would feel it. It felt like less than 25 people, but yeah, close enough.
Yeah, so even though I'm calling it a city, like I said, much more like a small town with one main street for all the shops and whatever you need. The Carnation website described them as your natural destination. Yeah. Because it's more for like hiking and camping.
Yeah, it's pretty cute out there.
Yeah, typical Pacific Northwest.
Yep. PNW.
Ooh, so throughout their 27 years of living up here, the Anderson family began to grow, not just by age, though, but in numbers as well. Their two oldest children both ended up starting families of their own. Scott married his wife, Erica, who then gave birth to their daughter, Olivia, and then just a couple years later, their son, Nathan. Mary had children of her own as well, and her son, Ben, who I mentioned earlier was 23 at the time of this incident. She had him, obviously, and then she also had two stepchildren from her marriage.
Okay.
The Andersons' youngest daughter, Michelle, she also had a romance of her own, and she, at the time, was dating 29-year-old Joseph McEnroe, and the two of them actually lived in a trailer on the family's plot of land, so very much, I guess, family-oriented.
Yeah, they're all right there. Yeah.
So here we are, the holiday is upon the Anderson household, and this is where the real challenge comes in. Trying to find a good day and time to get the entire family together.
Yes, we know this challenge.
We were just talking about this earlier.
And you have 9,000 family members.
And which day are you guys doing this? Okay, we're going to do this at her family this day.
It's not a problem on my side. We have two people, and no one gives a shit about it. You have 3,000 people on your side.
Yeah, and trying to get everybody in town at the right time. It's quite the challenge.
I'm like, let's just all meet in a field and bring biscuits.
Deal. Done. So, I mean, despite the I guess, trouble it includes, I guess, when trying to plan holiday get-togethers.
It can be stressful.
Yeah. They got it figured out, and it was this fateful Christmas Eve of 2007 that the family would feast together.
Okay.
But as the saying goes, even the best laid plans go awry. Mary, Judy and Wayne's oldest daughter, calls them up and tells her parents that she's feeling kind of sick and that sadly she won't be able to make it to dinner.
Aww.
Which, understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're sick, you're sick. Why?
Yeah, you don't want to get like 10 people sick by going to a big dinner.
Especially nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So Wayne and Judy, they make no fuss of it and continue their preparations for the joyous night that is to be. Wayne's kind of off doing his own thing while Judy is still rushing to finish wrapping the gifts that she had gotten her grandchildren that year, and that's when the spirit of the holiday shifts from jolly to terror. Two individuals barge into the Anderson home. Without warning, one pulls out a gun, points it at Wayne's head, and pulls the trigger. However, the gun jams.
Oh, shit.
To which the second individual pulls out a gun themselves and does what the first person failed to do. One shot into Wayne and a second one into Judy. And in just minutes, what was supposed to be a night that was merry and bright instantly turned to crimson with sin. If that wasn't terrifying enough, things take a turn for the worst, as not long after Judy and Wayne were murdered in the comfort of their own home, a car pulls up. In that car is their only son, Scott, Scott's wife, Erica, and the Andersons' grandchildren, 5-year-old Olivia and 3-year-old Nathan. The family of 4 walk into the house of terror, and at the sight of the 2 gunmen, Scott immediately jumped into action. He lunged forward at the nearest one, trying to fight the gun away from them. It wasn't enough, though, as the figure fired multiple bullets into him before he could effectively do anything. The two gunmen then turned towards Erica, and Erica, in a fight for not just her life, but her two children's lives as well, begged the two gunmen to spare her, and if not her, spare the children. 2 gunshots ring out, one from each gunman, as Erica then falls to the floor. Inches away from death, she reaches for the cordless phone in the kitchen and somehow manages to dial 911. The phone rings, the 911 operator picks up, and then silence. One of the gunmen rips the phone away from Erica, tears the batteries out of the back of it immediately, and finishes the job firing one final bullet. And if things weren't bad enough already, here's where the story gets truly gut-wrenching. The same gunman that fired that final bullet into Erica slowly walks over to the children, 5-year-old Olivia and 3-year-old Nathan. 1 shot to each, as the message was clear. No one gets out alive. Now, you might be wondering how we know so much about this disgusting act of violence towards an entire family, especially if the 2 gunmen made sure that nobody was going to make it out alive. Well, you remember that 911 phone call that Erica made in a last-ditch effort?
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, well, it went through. And
hell yeah.
I said the cordless phone in the kitchen. Now, a lot of people nowadays, like, we don't have a home phone.
Right.
A lot of people, I think, cut costs, cut the cord, and most people just have cell phones, which cell phones are great because you can take them everywhere and it's one number for you.
Right.
But typically that means you have to triangulate to figure out where people are located.
Right. Versus
home phones, where if it's this one number, it's only coming from this one location.
Right. There's no question where it's coming from.
Yeah. And so that's the beauty of what Erica was able to do, is that the call went through. And not only did it go through, the police were able to track the exact location of the phone number, and officers were sent directly to the Anderson household. Now, I want to take a second here, because even in this instance back in 2007, okay, there's a lot of issues in the world nowadays about police officers and what they can or can't or shouldn't do, and what, how much respect they deserve or don't deserve. And, I'm on the side of, I understand that being a police officer is a very stressful job.
Yeah, and complex.
Yeah.
There's so many gray areas.
And not just for the people involved, but, the family members of these people that worked. People are saying bye, I love you to people they don't know if they're going to come home that day.
Right.
So I understand, like you said, the complexity of dealing with situations, trying to decide what the best plan of action is.
Yep.
Well, sometimes we all know there's bad cops, there's good cops, there's dumb cops as well, though. And in this situation, these cops, they drive directly to the Anderson household. They get to the end of the Anderson, the house's driveway, and there's a gate there. And the gate is locked. Which, spoiler alert, one of the gunmen actually admits that they purposely went out and locked the gate, knowing that Erica had tried to dial 911. They were hoping that it would either slow down or deter the police from catching up to them. And holy shit, it worked.
And they just turned around?
Yep, Love sure that. Enough. They
it's Christmas Eve, right? So why would they?
Yeah, fuck it. We tried, we tried. We went there, gate was locked. Darn.
Spoiler alert really quick. I know this case. This is one of the more infamous ones around this area, but I don't remember a ton of the details. And that's one that I don't remember. And now I'm just re-baffled all over again.
I will say.
I'm embarrassed for them.
Thank goodness, and not really a spoiler alert, but this incompetence didn't cost, at least,
any more lives
didn't cost
or anything.
Any extra lives, and didn't.
Because sadly, what was done was done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, they decided, you know what, tough shit. We did our best, and that's all we can do.
In some cases, hours, even sometimes minutes, can be a huge difference. And I mean, in this case, it's just
you can wonder
putting you behind in finding the bodies, but as far as evidence goes and things like that, I mean, I don't want to say too much. I want you to keep going, but
So
sometimes things are not too far away.
Well, yeah, the fact that I'll get back to the story. This is where that night of December 24th, 2007 ends.
Oh God, okay.
Wayne, Judy, Scott, Erica, Olivia, and Nathan all shot dead.
So 6 people, right?
6.
Yeah, okay.
And for days, their bodies lay there until a coworker of Judy at the post office was wondering why Judy didn't show up to work. And I always wonder, how long would it take, like, for one of our coworkers, you know?
Sometimes I think about that, especially because sometimes coworkers don't report. You have some people that know their coworkers so well because they're best friends or whatever it is, or they're really anal about stuff. Like, I'm always insanely early.
Yeah.
So if I was ever on time or late, I would hope someone would be like, is she good?
Is she all right?
Yeah.
Is she oversleep? Do I need to call her just to make sure everything's okay?
Yeah, exactly. And it's sometimes you hear people that don't report people for days, or they do and no one cares. They're like, okay, well, they called out sick. And the police are like, why would we make a big deal out of this? People call out all the time or whatever. But yeah.
Right,
So, like, if you don't show up and you don't even call or anything.
That's the thing.
That, to me, is huge.
I guess, like, as, you know, I always give a 1 hour window. If I don't hear from somebody who's late within the first hour, that's when I call them, and I'll call them pretty much every hour on the hour. And usually, I mean, I don't think that's ever happened in a situation where I've had to keep calling someone.
Say, have you had to do that?
No, but I've always, you know, I've had to wait an hour, and I've called someone, and they said, oh yeah, I slept in.
Riley's in charge of people. He's a little higher up. So he's had to, like, think about, you've had to think about this stuff before.
Exactly.
I haven't.
That's kind of, I'll give someone an hour.
From an employer standpoint. Like,
Correct. Yeah. And so, I've never had to call multiple times. Usually the first time I call, they're already on their way, or they're like, oh, fuck, I just woke up. You know, I'm
right.
Okay, I'll be there. And, but I've never come into a situation where no one's answered. So I feel like after, like, the third call, I'd be like, maybe we should, like, do a wellness check or something. Or call their emergency contact info, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. This always happens. Go ahead.
So Judy's coworker, she decides, you know, instead of me just calling the police to be like, oh, she's, you know, didn't come into work today, she decided that on her way home, she would swing by their house.
Okay, that works too.
Which, if you know where they live, then
she's
feel
a lady
free,
of action.
You know?
I love it.
So she pulls up to the house, knocks on the door, and no answer. So she knocks again, and still no answer. So then her coworker steps off the porch, and I think, as most people would try to do, and try to peek through the window, you know, figure out, hey, is there anyone even home? I wonder if she tried the handle. Oh, if it was unlocked.
If she's peeking through windows, I would hope she would have tried the handle.
Maybe, but I would peek through the window first, and then if I don't see anyone in there, like, then maybe try to hand.
I guess.
I wouldn't want to walk in if people are like,
no, but
you know.
I think, like, okay, as a house cleaner, like you crack the door and, like, kind of yell in. You don't walk in, you crack and, like, yell. And then, like, if someone's like, housekeeping, And then if someone's like, I'm naked, you're like, cool, I'm coming in anyway.
You're like, all right, here I am. Me too. So, well, sadly, I guess, when she peeked through the window, she didn't see anybody naked in their household.
Oh my God, she could see them from the window?
Saw 2 lifeless bodies on the ground. Initially thought to be Judy and Wayne. So she immediately calls 911.
Right.
And lo and behold, they make it to the house all the way down the driveway. Weird. The gate was open enough.
If the gate was... How did Judy get through then?
So...
If the gate was locked.
Obviously, the people who locked it to prevent the police from coming in unlocked it to leave.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll make sense here shortly. But the gate was unlocked by the time Judy's coworker went to check on her. So...
Okay.
Yeah. And so 911, like I said, they finally get to the house, all the way to the house this time, and the investigation then begins. And detectives scour the crime scene. The 4 bodies of Scott and Erica's family found inside,
God.
while the bodies of Wayne and Judy were seemingly ditched outside of the home.
Oh, so like dragged out there?
Yep.
Ugh.
During their time of combing over the rest of the household, Michelle Anderson, the youngest of the children, she pulls up with her boyfriend Joseph, and through standard procedure, the 2 of them were brought in for questioning.
Yeah.
Where were you, when this happened? Why didn't you plan up, or not plan up, show up for the planned dinner that night?
Right.
And also, what do you know about your older sister Mary, and why she also didn't show up to the dinner that night either? And after all was said and done, Michelle being questioned in one room while Joseph was interrogated in a separate one, the both of them admitted guilt to all 6 murders that occurred that night.
Okay.
Yep. They just said, you got us.
So
you got us. Yeah, that's...
What?
I
don't remember this part of it at all.
That's the thing. So I don't really either, right? And I'm researching this, and I'm like, there's no way that they brought them in for questioning, and they just folded.
Do you know how old they were? Does it say?
29 years old.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
For a second, I was going to say if they were younger, like, they probably were easily susceptible to, like, cracking.
Right.
Pretty easy.
But these were also the family members living in a trailer on the parents' household.
So when they came through the gate and the police were already there.
Yep.
They were just like, oh, we just came home. What's happening here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's almost like they wanted to like play stupid.
Right.
Like I didn't, which doesn't help.
I wonder where they were the whole time then, or what they're gonna say about where they have been.
Right. What's the plan?
Yeah.
If they
also
question
too,
us.
where have you been hiding out then? Where have you been this whole time?
Yeah. If you live on the property.
Right.
So, yeah.
That was easy, I guess. Okay.
That was the thing that jumped out to me. I was like, no, there's no...
That's good news for these lazy cops then.
Yeah, exactly. They're like,
should we deal?
Well, we got him this time.
Look at all this hard police detective work.
Yeah. So on Christmas Eve of 2007, Michelle Anderson and Joseph McEnroe shot and killed her father, 60-year-old Wayne Anderson, and the same thing for 61-year-old Judy Anderson, her mother.
Damn.
Knowing that there was going to be more guests to arrive, that's when they moved the bodies outside. They didn't want Scott and Erica to walk in and think,
I was
what's
wondering
going on.
about that. Yeah.
So the way that I've seen it explained is that when they first went over to the household, someone, I want to say Joseph, was trying to distract Judy while Michelle went over to shoot her dad. That's when the gun jammed, so Joseph had to take his gun over and shoot his dad, and then obviously immediately shoot the mom because don't call 911.
Right.
After taking the bodies outside, that's when her brother and sister-in-law, Scott and Erica, showed up. Scott was shot multiple times, and then Erica. And as I said before her death, she pleaded with her sister-in-law to leave the children alone. And sadly, it wasn't enough, as Michelle ordered Joseph to shoot the 2 children, her own niece and nephew.
Dude,
to which he did. And she describes the reason for that is because they're already too traumatized to have seen their parents murdered like this, that there's no reason for them to continue living.
Oh my God.
Which...
Yeah, I don't think you get to choose that.
Yeah.
But also, like, there's also the argument, too, that, like, well, why didn't you just wear a mask or something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I know the people that you were there to kill people. They weren't going to live. I know they can't identify you once they're dead. I understand that. Doesn't matter if you're masked or not.
Yep.
But I don't get why it wouldn't hurt to wear a mask You just never know if they're survivors, or like when it comes to the kids, you can almost guarantee like the kids
would recognize you.
Yeah,
and so that
change
is
your
where
voice a little bit. You could kill the grown-ups, and then like this sounds so bad. Like if you really wanted to do some damage, the kids have done nothing to you. Kill the grown-ups if you really hate them that much. Unfortunately, no one can fucking stop you. You already had this in your mind. But why the kids? You could have just left and fled somewhere.
And that's where I say it, the clear message was that nobody makes it out alive.
Yeah, and they would have never known it was you guys. Sure, they would have been fucked up, but therapy, I mean, I don't know. It's just sad.
I mean, not wearing the masks.
Clearly, you're already mentally unstable killing people, so sometimes you can't argue, like, to save the kids. Because some people, they're not mentally well enough to even think that.
No.
Yeah.
No, and that was, some of the arguments
sad,
of their
obviously.
defense is that they were unstable.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Spoiler alert. Yeah, so and they shoot the niece and nephew. And all of this is because Michelle felt like her brother Scott had owed her some money and that the parents were taking his side over the dispute. So, interesting enough, members of the jury for this trial, they weren't selected until December of 2014, which is like 7 years later. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What was the reason for this delay?
I could not figure it out.
I'd be pissed.
I could not figure it out, and the family members, the mom of Erica,
You know what though?
Yeah.
Do you think it had anything to do with them probably pleading insanity, and them like taking years? Like, if you think about it,
to show that they're
one person already pleading I'm crazy, or there's ways to delay court cases.
I think it did, because one of the things that Joseph tried to do in this case is say that Michelle bullied and manipulated him into committing this crime.
And does he have a stutter or a lisp or something? Does he have a speech impediment? I remember this. Yep. So you can argue, if I remember correctly, his background is his mother had some issues, and not his dad, but his mom was a single mom, but had multiple men coming in and out for years. And some of them were very abusive. His mom had a lot of traffic coming in and out of the house. Some of it was like very sexual, happened in front of him. She was demeaning to him. He had a brother. She was so mean to him too. They were just abused, and that was part of his defense. But this didn't come out until later. So a lot of people are like, yeah, your lawyer's telling you to plead this. Like, otherwise, why didn't you say this to begin with?
And I mean, also, you would want, strangely enough, a case like this. I mean, it was Christmas Day around here. I even kind of remember when all this happened.
Oh, I don't remember anything.
Really? I remember, I mean, there's certain like events.
You would have been a sophomore?
Yeah.
I would have been a freshman, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, it was all over the news.
I don't remember any of this.
Really?
Yeah.
But it was all over the news. And so if you're, selecting jury members, you don't want them to be swayed by what they're seeing on the news.
Yeah.
And so maybe, obviously 7 years is kind of a long time, but
well, it's too late for a gag order at that point. Everybody knows everything.
Yeah. But distance from the time of the incident versus the trial will allow some,
trying to find an unbiased jury, right? And then also you might relocate. I don't know if you did any research on like where this was held, in what court. They might move
still
them.
In King County, so it wasn't out of.
It could have been
too far
further in King County somewhere to kind of help the fairness of it,
I guess.
But also too, I think anything naturally becomes more convoluted when you have multiple killers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's that many victims.
Yeah, well, I mean. So I guess back to the case, a month after the jury trial was selected. So it would be January. No. I'm getting my dates mixed up. Yeah. January of 2014. So I guess 11 months before they were selected.
Okay.
Joseph actually admitted guilt to it, hoping that going into the trial, it would save him from getting the death sentence.
Okay.
Which that wasn't what saved him. It was because there was a memorandum on the death sentence in Washington. And so, but he did, before the trial even began, admit guilt to it all.
Okay.
So it was in March of 2015, so I guess 3 months after the jury was selected, that he was found guilty for 6 counts of aggravated first-degree murder. And then 2 months later, in May of 2015, he was sentenced to life in prison. But it wasn't until a year later, March of 2016, that Michelle Anderson was then found guilty of the exact same crimes.
What did she plead, though? Do you know what she pled?
Guilty.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm checking.
Yeah, and the jury found her guilty of all 6 as well. So at the trial, Michelle's oldest sibling, Mary, who was sick that night and couldn't make it to the dinner, she took the time to say some words directly to Michelle, but she also took the time to talk to, I guess, news outlets that were kind of covering the story at the time. And Mary believes that if she had not felt ill that night, that she would have been one of the victims as well.
That stuff is so trippy to me.
Yep.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, and so...
when you miss death by just like some unforeseen, you hear about it too, like people filling in for coworkers and then it's robbed that night and then they die and it's like, wow, I was supposed to be working that night. Like, I just can't imagine that. Yeah. And it's some kind of weird guilt thing that you have nothing to do with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That you can carry. That's crazy.
Yeah. So Joseph, he's currently in Washington State Penitentiary, while Michelle is in the Washington Correction Center for Women.
That is crazy. For the rest of their lives, right? I mean,
yep.
Is there any chance for parole or anything on both of them? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well then, shit.
Yeah. And
bada bang.
It's so weird. I don't know if the fact that it takes place on Christmas Eve adds to it, because I think if you kill your entire family, no matter what.
But if you think about it, it's the perfect opportunity for everyone to be in the same place at once. Like,
I mean, really how can you plan it any better?
That's that weird opportunity meets planning. You can kind of claim both. It's weird. Yeah. Yeah. But I believe there's a ton of audio of this.
Oh, yeah. The entire trial is on YouTube.
If you want to listen to him, the way that he talks, this case has been done by numerous people, and a lot of them will have audio of it, and the way that he talks. Did you say Joseph?
What's his name? Joseph
McEnroe. Yeah. The way that he talks is very, like, quiet. She's very meek. He has a speech impediment. It takes him a little while to spit things out. Yeah. But he's very, like, calm and kind, and I don't think he ever gets angry at one point.
No. We're talking, there is, like, 5 or 6 parts of the entire trial, hours long.
It adds to the creepiness of this, where someone's so calm and seemingly so nice and kind and, like, shy. Yeah. Which just shows you never fucking know.
Yeah. No, I know. It makes you wonder, too, if Michelle really was, manipulating him.
But you definitely get that.
But the thing is, though, so Michelle didn't have a job.
Yeah.
But he did. He worked at Target. And so he was capable of, I guess, supporting her. Yeah. But at the same time,
But there's a lot of, too, of people, witnesses saying that they know that the couple fought all the time. Yeah. There was a lot of, like, issues that they dealt with finances, but Michelle didn't want to work, but he was supporting her.
The whole thing was about.
Yeah, and
money.
they just keep fighting all the time, and everyone's like, they didn't seem happy. The windows on their trailer was always blacked out, and they were very private. They never talked to anybody in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, weird recluse.
I don't know if we have any listeners that live in a situation like that. Because I'm not gonna always, like, judge people because you live in a trailer like that. I mean, that's not like trailer park living. That's not what I'm talking about.
Because they're on property.
Yeah. I'm just saying it is. Every time I see that, I'm like, if I was to walk past it, I'm going to walk on the other side of the road past that trailer.
Well, you just never know. Yeah. You just never know.
Yeah.
Well, damn. Well, once again, it feels weird saying thank you, but...
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're so welcome.
It's kind of weird going into these holidays because, you always hear people say, like, wow, I can't wait to see my super racist Aunt Judy. Or, like, you just never know going into this time of year, like, what drama's going to start.
You don't. But
old
that's
stories
the thing.
Resurface.
You never think... No matter what the drama within your family, you never think I'm going to be going into a murder.
No.
That's what's wild.
Yeah. But you know what? This is a great opportunity to kind of put it out there that if anybody has any crazy holiday stories,
oh my goodness,
I would fucking love to hear it. Yes. I love this shit. Like, please message us about any like food fights you've had, any drama, anybody like spilling secrets about like cheating uncles or something, or somebody drugging your mashed potatoes or anything. I would love to hear about
the mashed potatoes, huh?
You never know. You never know.
I guess not. Yeah, and I thought, you know what, as we do go into Thanksgiving for all of our, I guess, American listeners coming up here in the next couple weeks, you know, last year I covered Grant Amato, which was another family situation. And so if you guys haven't listened to that, go back, listen to that one.
This time last year, Riley was doing this by himself.
Solo, yeah. And here we are. It's season 1 finale, finally.
A year later.
And we're going to be changing things up for season 2.
Yeah, we have some new stuff we're going to try out and do.
Yeah, I think
nothing too crazy,
but I think if you're a YouTube listener, you're going to be able to enjoy it. If you're you know, a full-time audio listener, I think you'll definitely enjoy it as well. And we're gonna hop right into
guys,
it.
Also, like, we are not sensitive Sallies. Like, feel free to be
Tell us to hurry the fuck up.
I would love to hear more interviews done in your podcast. If you want to hear more audio, if you want us to find more videos on the Instagram, I don't know. I can't think of too much stuff, but whatever you
I would say
like.
actually what you should do is let us know what your favorite part of certain podcasts are.
Yeah, right.
Because
I love that so-and-so does this in their podcast or whatever.
We don't need you guys to tell us how to make a podcast because you guys just typically like to listen to the podcast. So if we figure out an easier way to know what you guys are like, then we're gonna supply
things that
you'd
like to see. If you already like us, be like, hey, I love you guys, but I'd love to see like more audio or whatever.
More
more personal stuff. Some people love hearing about the people behind the mics. They're like, maybe we want to hear more stuff about the people.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, and that's something, you and I
or if
have
you want to
discussed.
or if some people want to hear like funny little like small episodes in between that have nothing to do with murder.
If you want me to be shirtless or what's the mesh shirts or what's like that old 80s. Yeah.
Fishnets.
Yes, there you go. If that's what you want me to just wear fishnet.
I can't be the only one who wants to see that. So
I don't think you're
and
the person who wants to see that even so. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is the season 1 finale.
Sure. Yeah.
And we'll see you in a few months.
No,
just kidding.
See you soon.
Just kidding. And we'll see you guys soon for season 2.
Yeah.
Coming up shortly. So hope you guys enjoyed it. And this has been another episode of the True Crime Banter podcast. We will talk to you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Adios.
Bye.